What is going on, y'all? Gamers Goon here today with your second day of March Madness recap. Another solid day of March Madness. We didn't have anything too crazy this year. No 15s beating 2s, even though Robert Morris made it close. We'll actually start off with the Baylor game. The Baylor game might have been one of the best games in this whole tournament so far. Baylor, Mississippi State, down to the wire, 3-point game. Baylor comes out on top. VJ Edgecombe with 14. Norshad Omier posting a double-double. Love, Langston Love with 15. And then Rob Wright. We talked about him a little bit in some of those videos leading up to March Madness with a solid 19 points. For Mississippi State, they were on the back of Hubbard, 26 points, not enough to get the job done. Baylor, though, hung in there, played with a real tough Mississippi State team. Baylor, you get a date with Duke. Have fun. Robert Morris versus Alabama. Alabama struggled. They really did. And you might be like, well, yeah, they were banged up. It was the point where they didn't play Grant Nelson to start this game, but in the second half, when I tuned in, Grant Nelson was playing. Grant Nelson played a total of 7 minutes, scored 5 points. They needed Grant Nelson here. Those 5 points would have been the difference between a 9-point win and a 4-point win. Absolutely shocking. Diabate with 18 and 10. Mark Sears with a double-double, 22 and 10 assists. Cliff with 17, but Robert Morris, Dickerson, and Marion Dickerson, 25 points, shot the ball pretty well, 11 for 22. Would have been a little bit better from 3 if maybe they would have won this game. They got a double-double in there with Fulgarius, the 15 and 10, Alvaro Fulgarius. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name. But Robert Morris, respect for them for really sticking in there with a high-powered Alabama team. So much so that Alabama had to rely upon one of the guys that they were like, hey, we can just let him sit out. You can't let Grant Nelson sit out because Robert Morris was legit. They were legit. In Alabama, they might be in some trouble for the remainder of this tournament. This is the Alabama team we're getting. Robert Morris, as we kind of talked about, we didn't really talk about it too much, but I've heard a lot of people say if there was a 15 that would beat a 2, it'd be Robert Morris. So, Robert Morris, respect for them for hanging in there. And this was one of the more trendy upsets that I've heard people kind of float around. I don't know if people actually really took it, but Lipscomb over Iowa State, and it didn't happen. It did not happen. Iowa State went in there, handled business, even with the injury there to Keyshawn Gilbert. Tamin Lipsey, did he play? Yeah, he did play. Scored 10 points. Milam Chilovich scored 20. Then you get over to Lipscomb Ognasevich with 18. But Iowa State went in there, handled business. Pretty much what we thought would happen there. Then our first upset of the day, the weird upset where the 12 seed was actually the betting favorite here, and that's Colorado State beating Memphis. Dane Danger had a really good game, 22 points, shout out to Dane. PJ Haggerty, 18, Rogers with 18, Colby Rogers. PJ Haggerty put up 23 shots and made as many baskets as Rogers. Haggerty was falling in love with them shots from deep. 1 for 8. You could tell Dane was getting gassed down there. He just didn't have enough left in the tank. He just did not have enough left in the tank. They went to him early, and they wore Dane down. So they went away from him. PJ Haggerty tried to step up. Didn't really work out for him. Neat Clifford stuffed the stat sheet. 14, 8, and 6. Didn't shoot the ball well, but he, once again, we kind of talked about him potentially being the best player on the court. His team did come out on top. Shout out to Lake and Crocker Johnson, both in the double figures. But the guy we really got to talk about is Kyan Evans. This guy averages 10 points a game. Shoots the ball fairly well. But in this game, Kyan Evans decided, hey, I'm going to score 23 points shooting the ball 6 for 9 from 3. Kyan Evans, big-time game, stepped up for Colorado State. The difference in that game was Kyan Evans, somebody that you probably didn't have circled as the guy for Colorado State. Well, guess what? He's the guy for Colorado State in this one. Duke versus the Mount, didn't watch it. You got Proctor with 19, Mallowau with 11, Coop with 14 and 7, Foster with 12. All-round game there for Duke. Then you go to the Mount. They had a guy coming off the bench, Arlandis Keys with 15, and that was all for the Mount. Thank you for coming. Duke, enjoy your matchup against Baylor. You probably win. But VJ Edgecombe, if you want to make some money, you got a chance. And then another one of the really good games here. A second half comeback here for St. Mary's to beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was up 7 at the half. St. Mary's won by 10. Locked it up in the second half. Marcialonis with 14. Ross with 15. Barrett with 12. Saxum with 12. Vandy had one guy really cooking, and that was Jason Edwards with 18. Other than that, everybody else scored under double digits. Couldn't get much going there. Ole Miss versus North Carolina. Ole Miss was handling business in the first half. 18-point victory in the first half. And then UNC won the second half by 11. So that means Ole Miss won by 7. But UNC made this a game. They really rallied. Ole Miss late had to rely on a Pajula three-pointer. He scored 20. Davis scored 20. Brakefield had 12. North Carolina, R.J. Davis's last college game, he dropped 15. Lubin for UNC, Van Allen Lubin with 14. Didn't get too much help. One of their better three-point shooters on the year, Drake Powell, shooting 38 from the season. Missed a big one late in that game, a wide-open one. Maryland, the Crab Five, handled business against Grand Canyon. Didn't watch any of this game. We talked about Ty and Grant Foster last year. We're talking about him again. 23 points, good performance there from him. But Maryland, the Crab Five, all but one of them got in double digits. And then you had a guy come off the bench in Deshaun Harris to get double digits. But the big one in the Crab Five was Julian Reese with 18 and 9. And Derek Queen not too far behind with a double-double. Jacoby Gillespie with 16. And Selton Miguel with a 13 to add to it. So the Crab Five, they're going to be a tough out, I'm telling you. Florida versus Norfolk State. Only a 26-point victory. Norfolk State didn't get completely blown out, but Florida dominated the game pretty much from the word go. Norfolk State did have 3 guys score double digits. Darden, Ings, and Fields. Florida, on the other hand, Walter Clayton does what Walter Clayton is known for, 23 points. Then you had Elijah Martin adding to it with 17. Condon with 12. And then off the bench, Thomas Howell with 13 to add to it. Not too shabby there from Florida and their depth. Troy versus Kentucky, another one that people thought maybe could be an upset with a little bit banged up Kentucky team. That's not enough. We had Otegwa Owe lead the way with 20. Kobe Bryant with 13 there for him. You had Brandon Garrison add 13, and you had Andrew Carr with 13. So a lot of guys with double digits there at Kentucky. And then you get over to Troy. They had 2 guys in double figures, Connerway and Rigsby. At the end of the day, big time win. A 19-point win there for Kentucky. Never really was in doubt. And then another one where we saw one of these teams that were the underdog, New Mexico, win against Marquette. Marquette did not look good. They were led by David Joplin. Really good game from him. 28 points. Cam Jones. Cam Jones, 15 added to it. Otherwise than that, they didn't get much help. You go to New Mexico, though. You got 4 guys in double figures. They got Nelly Jr. Joseph with 19. They got True Washington with 12. They had, obviously, Donovan Dent with 21. And then they had C.J. Nolan adding 11. All around, big-time performance from the whole team. The winner of the Michigan State game is going to have a little bit of some problems on their hands. Akron versus Arizona. This game really never got going for Akron. Big time win for Arizona. It looked really, really impressive. Arizona did it on the backs of a bunch of double-digit scores. Tommy Townsend with 16. You had Jaden Bradley at 19. You had Caleb Love with 10. KJ Lewis with 10. Carter Bryant with 12. Akron, on the other hand, had a couple 10-point plus. They had Nate Johnson go for 13. Tavari Johnson go for 13. And then Shema Scott with 11. Tough day there for Akron. Never really got going. Oklahoma versus UConn. This game got close there. Everybody was picking UConn. It was the right pick. I haven't actually seen this because this is when Illinois and them were playing. Jeremiah Fears, 20 points off 14 shots. Not bad. Jalen Moore with 13 to add to it. UConn, not a super impressive performance all around. Solo Ball in double digits. Taurus Reed in double digits. And Alex Caravan in double digits. A bunch of rebounds there for everybody, though. So they definitely dominated the rebound battle. How bad was the rebound battle? Yeah, they won the rebound battle by 9. Pretty good difference there for UConn to win that game. And as we were talking about with New Mexico, they're going on to play Michigan State. Now, Bryant did keep this respectable for a long time. It was a 5-point game at half. Ended up getting out of hand there in the second half. But Bryant stayed in it. Did a really solid job. Pinson for Bryant with 21. Timberlake with 14. Michigan State, obviously. Jeremy Fears with 11. Jace Richardson, 15. Jaden Atkins, 11. Trey Holloman, 14. Cohen Carr, 18. Cohen Carr, really a big part of this game and winning it for Michigan State. Then we get to my two teams, Xavier versus Illinois. Illinois went in there. The first half was a little close. I was on the edge of my seat, just getting a feel for things. Is Illinois going to stop doing what's working and going in and attacking? They looked really good in the first half, getting Kasparis going downhill, drawing some fouls. Kasparis doing that little over-the-head pass to Tomislav Ivicic where he'd hit that jumper. They looked really good doing it in the first half, and they did the exact same in the second half. And I'd be really bad to say, even with a slow start to this game, Will Riley yet again looks like one of the best players in the country. Just stepping up, scoring 22 points in this game. Big time shot after big time shot. At the beginning of this game, I was like, ooh, this is not looking great, because he drove to the basket a couple times, missed some easy ones at the rim. It's like, I don't know if he likes this more physical style with Freemantle in there to bump him around a little bit, because Freemantle was going in and challenging some of his shots, missed a couple of them. He adjusted. Will Riley looked really, really good there after the first time he got subbed out. For the first 2 or 3 minutes of the game, he was in that shell shock kind of moment, like, oh, this is March Madness. But then he realized, hey, this is March Madness. I'm Will Riley, and I'm going to be an NBA player. Like, I can take this game over, and he did it. Tomislav with a double-double. KJ with a double-double and 1 rebound shy. I didn't even realize this yesterday. 1 rebound shy of a triple-double, actually. Kylan added 15, hit some big shots. Shot the 3 ball actually kind of well. 3 for 4. You don't see that very often out of Kylan. He's really stepping up. Trey White with 7 and 7. Morez Johnson had a couple good plays in there. Just really, really good all-around game. I guess I will shout out some Xavier guys. Conwell started off pretty hot. Hit a 3 right off the bat. Scared me. But he wasn't even the guy. We limited Conwell and Freemantle to a combined 17, where I believe Freemantle scores 17 and Conwell scores 16 on the season. Something like that. They combined for 17. It was this guy right here, Swain. Dalen Swain, 27 points, really stepped up, shot the 3 ball pretty well, 3 for 5. Dominant performance from him, but he just didn't have much help. Davion McKnight with 12 to add to it, but when your 2 stars combined for 17, it's going to be a rough night. Illinois did a good job of limiting them. They're going to have to do it once again against Kentucky, but really, really good there from Illinois. Then we have Liberty versus Oregon. Liberty was a team I was scared of because they had all this shooting left and right and center. Well, guess what? Liberty shot 8 for 37 from 3. Oregon shot 10 for 21. Oregon put up 16 less threes and made 2 more. Liberty did not get hot from 3. The only guy scoring double digits was Zach Cleveland. He kind of stuffed the stat sheet a little bit, 10, 6, and 6. Oregon, on the other hand, dominant. I said this at one point. We didn't really do it. Biddle went in there and bullied him, or not Biddle. Bamba went in there and bullied him a couple times, going towards a rim, being more physical. We didn't even really need to be physical in this game. That's how well we were playing. Biddle, I said it a few times during this game to my friends and to my family. I was like, hey, just feed Biddle. None of these guys can stop Biddle. And there was times where they couldn't stop Biddle. He's the tallest dude out there. He dropped 14 and 10. Really easy game for him. But the real star of the show, the guy that obviously bleeds and does everything March Madness, right? You're always looking for that guy that can get hot. Jackson Shellstad immediately in this game. 3 for 4 from 3, 7 for 11 from the field. Dropped 17. Jackson Shellstad a couple times would just walk up the court and pull up from close to like the logo from the side logo. And he hit it a few times. Jackson Shellstad was feeling it. He was really feeling it. And I don't know what you do when somebody just crosses half court and he just has the green light in his head and he releases it and it's in. I don't know how you guard that if you're Liberty, but really, really good stuff there from Shellstad. He came to play for sure. Jadrian Tracy adding 7. Kwame Evans with 6 and 7. Supreme Cook with 6 and 6. Really good all-around performance. Mookie Cook even in some mop-up time with 6 points. So shout out to everybody there. Mookie Cook dropping 2 threes for Oregon. Barthélemy added 10. I don't know if I said that. And we didn't really get much Angel. Angel only scored 5 points in 21 minutes, but Oregon handled business. They didn't really need much Angel in this game. Pretty self-explanatory there. Didn't need to rely on some of those guys that we've seen them rely on in games past. 14 for Biddle. If you're gonna win your next game, you can't get 14 for Biddle. You probably need to get more closer to that 20 mark. I don't know what's going on. Allergies are not doing well. So we will get over to here to the second round. UConn versus Florida. Florida's going to have their hands full with an 8-seeded UConn. I'd be kind of upset if I'm Florida, but Florida should still handle business here. Duke versus Baylor. Duke should easily win this game. Baylor, I like VJ Edgecombe. I was thinking this at the Mississippi State game. VJ just looks far better than the guys around him. Not necessarily the Baylor guys, but when he's on the court, you know where VJ is at all times. He's flying around the court, getting rebounds. VJ just looks like an NBA player playing with college players, and that's pretty much what he is. Duke, guess what? They got a few of those guys too, so it's going to be tough for Baylor to hang in there. St. Mary's versus Alabama. St. Mary's really going to need to control the pace if they're going to win this game. If you can hold Alabama under 70, I like St. Mary's odds, but can you hold Alabama under 70? I don't know. And if Alabama scores over 70, can St. Mary's even do that on a consistent basis? I don't know. Colorado State versus Maryland should be a fun one, a fun Colorado State team, but that Maryland starting 5 is absolutely disgusting. You don't want to run into Maryland right now. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to run into Maryland. I know I did skip a game in there with Illinois, Kentucky, because I do have them at the top since I do have them as a favorite team. We will revisit them. Ole Miss versus Iowa State. These are two teams, man. I didn't really want to see this matchup because of a banged up Iowa State, right? A banged up Iowa State with Keyshawn Gilbert out, and not a super great Iowa State team. I mean, they're a good team, right? With Keyshawn Gilbert, they're a good team, but this is not a team that's particularly scares me. Without Keyshawn Gilbert, they lost to BYU not too long ago. Ole Miss, just a team I'm just not very high on in general. They're just not fun. It's Pajula always feels like he hits a big shot, but it's just so annoying watching this Ole Miss team because they always let teams hang in there. Iowa State, Ole Miss, it'll be a good game, but I'm not looking forward to it. And then New Mexico versus Michigan State. This one is going to be really fun. We're hoping for New Mexico to pull it out, but ultimately there's just a lot of star power in Michigan State. You probably got it right with Michigan State. Illinois versus Kentucky. Orlando Antigua going up against his former school that he was an assistant at. In this one, pretty much like we said, Illinois, if they came to play like they did in the round one, I think they win. Kentucky also had a pretty impressive round one, but it was against Troy. Illinois played a tougher team and looked pretty good. Kentucky a little banged up. Kirk Risa out of this game. Jackson Robinson, who I believe was at BYU last year, out of this game. Illinois, obviously, you haven't played the whole season without Ty Rodgers. There's a good chance that Illinois has the best player on the court with Kasper Shakasonis. I mean, it's not the scariest of 3 seeds if you're Illinois. Illinois' peak can beat this Kentucky team. Here's the question. Which Illinois? And this is going to be the question until Illinois gets eliminated. If they do, I hope we win the whole thing. I don't know if that will happen. Probably not. But here's the whole question for Illinois in every single game that they'll participate in the rest of this tournament. Which version of Illinois do you get? If you get yesterday's Illinois, you win a lot of games. If you get the Illinois that let Maryland beat them by 20 twice, you're going to lose a lot of games. So we'll see what kind of Illinois team we get. This one's hard to pick just because you don't know which version of Illinois you'll get every game. Oregon versus Arizona. Trust me, I love this Oregon team. I think there's a lot of talent on it. Hopefully Biddle comes back next year. And obviously you already got this year, you got Shellsad, so he should be back. Jadrian Tracy will be back. I don't know about some of those other guys. I don't know about the Bombas. I don't know about the Supreme Cooks. I don't know about those guys. I don't think Keyshawn Bartholomew is going to be back, so that wouldn't be a little bit of a hurt for us because he's been playing really, really well. I like Oregon, obviously, to win this game. I would love it to happen. But realistically, I think this Arizona team wins. They just seem to be playing really, really well at the moment. And they got too many guys. They got Love, who Oregon has a history of slowing down. But then they got Bradley. Then they got KJ Lewis. They got Tommy Townsend from last year. I believe he was on that Oakland team. Just a team I don't want to run into. I'm going to be honest, I don't really want to run into them. So it's going to be one of those games where if Oregon can get hot, they win. If not, I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon loses by double digits. It's kind of the game that I'm envisioning in my head. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.